All right, let's bring in House Minority Whip and the ranking member of the House Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Crisis, Congressman Steve Scalise. Great to see you, Congressman. I know you've been on this very strongly. This new information tonight, I think everyone watching will want to know, what can we do about this?
Well, Steve, what we need to do is have hearings on this very issue. I mean, you look over a week ago with the emails that came out, clearly those of us for a year now that have been calling for an investigation into the origin of this virus, specifically whether or not it did start in that Wuhan lab. As you pointed out, again, over a year ago, many people were calling for this kind of investigation, and we were called conspiracy theorists. Now it looks very much like that may have been where this virus started from, whether it was intentional or not, and whether gain of function was part of what the United States taxpayers were helping fund. Those are serious questions. Rand Paul's raised those questions. He's a medical doctor himself. He understands gain of function, but as well as the question of whether or not it actually started in that lab in Wuhan and whether there was funding that went with it, whether directly or indirectly of American taxpayer dollars. These questions should be answered. Pelosi, for whatever reason, will not call a hearing. We've been calling for her to do this for over a year. I think the pressure's mounting, Steve, and I think a hearing is inevitable. But President Biden himself should want to know the answers to these questions. Look, this virus has been devastating both to Americans as well as internationally. Millions of people dead, let alone the damage it's done to all of our economies and psyche of our children. We ought to get these answers.
Well, I mean, look, frankly, we've got the answer. That we know for a fact, there's no question about it, that Fauci's NIAID did fund gain-of-function research in Wuhan. There's no question about that. He can deny it as often as he likes. We've just demonstrated that he did it. And so the question is, I think we've lost your video, Congressman. I don't know if you can still hear me. The question is...
Yeah, we're back there.
What can we do about this? The professional misconduct is what I want to focus on, because of the fact that he now clearly did fund it, we know that he went around the ban that was put in place by the Obama administration and the new regulations, the rules regulating all this, put in place by the Trump administration. He went around that, and he did so by claiming it wasn't gain of function, but it was, on his own definition. And that's just unbelievable that the head of a government agency would do that and not face consequences. Where's the accountability going to come from for this?
Well, and that's, again, why we are demanding a hearing. Over 200 of my colleagues sent a letter to Speaker Pelosi last week after the emails came out saying we need to have a hearing on this specific issue. We have a number of committees of jurisdiction that are already in place. The Select Subcommittee, of course, is one. You've got the Oversight Committee, Energy and Commerce. There's a China Task Force that initially was going to be bipartisan. Speaker Pelosi walked away from that, but we still have that committee standing up. There are other committees as well, but this needs to be investigated by Congress. And let's get more detailed answers. Maybe China won't give us honest answers, but we've had scientists in America that have been in communication with some of those scientists in the Wuhan lab. Let's get as much out there on the record as we can. If they haven't already destroyed the evidence in China, let's get whatever we can now so that we can find out before it's too late. Because, again, we're over a year away from this. The longer we go, the harder it's going to be to get these answers. We ought to be getting these answers right now. Speaker Pelosi ought to want to get to the bottom of this, too, and get the facts out. For whatever reason, she's been stonewalling, but we're going to keep fighting to get these answers.
Well, good for you. And another reason, frankly, that in those elections coming up in the midterms, we'll try and get another speaker in place, and then I think we can really get motoring with this. Congressman Steve Scalise, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being with us
Great
tonight.
being with you, Steve. Thanks.